This is disgusting. You find out that the seasoning on your food had rat droppings next to it.
It smells like breakfast, but bites like hospital food. That egg? Vacuum sealed in slime. That fresh coffee? Brewed 12 hours ago. Fast food breakfast isn't comfort. It's convenience disguised as food. And the worst part? The mold, the shortcuts, the rats are just getting started. Let's start with the chain that microwaves muffins and calls it morning.
Telling you why their holidays run on Dunkin.
All I want for Christmas is a Dunkin' Peppermint Dunkachino.
It starts with a hiss of steam and not from fresh cooking. It's the microwave door sealing shut on factory eggs. That egg? It's never met a shell. It was born in a slimy pouch, steamed into shape, and slapped between a bun like nothing's wrong. Ever smelled burnt egg fused to plastic? Donuts might look soft, but they arrive frozen solid. Then they're thawed overnight or nuked in batches. One ex-employee admitted, "I once scraped off mold from a glazed donut. Management told me to just glaze over it." Another said the display case sometimes held muffins still wrapped in plastic when they hit the tray. "We'd microwave 6 at once, peel off the wrap, and pray no one noticed the soggy bottoms," they said. Muffins aren't the only problem. The glaze on donuts can be days old. You might see powdery streaks where mold tried to grow. A health report flagged slime in the coffee machine's drip tray at one location. You're not sipping energy, you're guzzling syrup. Now, coffee. At some stores, it's brewed at dawn and left under heat lamps for hours. Bitter, burnt, and full of floating grounds. A whistleblower revealed they sometimes topped off old brew with fresh water to avoid waste reports. That cup you grab? It might carry last night's sludge and a hint of moldy residue. Then there's sugar. A large caramel swirl iced latte packs over 50 grams of sugar before whipped cream. That's more than a full can of soda. You think it's caffeine? It's dessert. Salt is another trap. A bacon, egg, and cheese croissant has about 1,120 milligallons of sodium, half your daily limit in one bite. Add a hash brown, another 500 milligallons, and your blood pressure spikes before you reach work. A lawsuit claimed Dunkin misled customers by calling frozen items fresh. One plaintiff ended up in the ER after eating an egg sandwich contaminated by a dirty microwave. Have you ever bitten into a reheated egg sandwich that tasted like plastic? Tell us your Dunkin' breakfast horror below. Staffing issues make it worse. During rush hour, cleaning gets skipped. Gloves often go from trash bins straight to food prep. One former manager said, "We skipped cleaning the fryer for days to keep orders moving." Another worker saw rats scurry behind the counter at 3 a.m., and no one chased them off. You paid full price for this. Frozen filler, plastic pouches, sugar bombs, and health code violations. Still think this is a safe stop for your morning fuel? If vacuum-sealed eggs and moldy muffins grossed you out, wait until you see what Dairy Queen leaves out overnight.
New DQ Guardian's Awesome Mix Blizzard, an awesome mix of brookie pieces, caramel, and choco chunks.
You walk in for a quick bite. What you get is a grease trap in disguise. Dairy Queen's breakfast uses the same oil to fry fish, burgers, and hash browns. One former cook said, "We barely changed the oil unless corporate was on site. Your hash browns soaked up last night's fish." That flavor hit lingers on your tongue like a bad memory. Your hash browns taste like last night's onion rings? Eggs arrive as a powdered mix in cartons, not cracked fresh. Staff pour them onto a griddle that often looks like it hasn't been wiped in hours. "I saw egg run into old grease once," a whistleblower recalled. "We were too busy to clean." The pancakes? Pre-portioned frozen discs nuked in a microwave bag. One ex-employee admitted, "We dumped them in the steam cabinet still wrapped in plastic. No one wanted to touch them." That soggy chemical taste, part plastic, part regret. It's not fuel, it's sabotage. And then there's the sausage. In one viral TikTok, a customer filmed links left uncovered on a prep table, night after night. The next morning, the staff still served them alongside eggs. That post racked up millions of views. People joked about breakfast roulette, and some ended up sick. At least one diner reported food poisoning and filed a complaint with the health department. Oil quality makes or breaks the meal. Yet many locations stretch fryer oil for days. Residue builds up. Health inspectors have flagged a rancid smell and black flecks in the oil. One report noted, fried debris stuck to the fryer walls. You're paying for a fish fry breakfast, whether you like it or not. Then there's the sugar rush. A Blizzard sugar packet can sneak into a morning latte, dumping extra sweet weight into your cup. You think you're getting a caffeine boost. Instead, you're gulping a syrup bomb loaded with extra sugar that spikes your energy and crashes your day hard. Staff shortages turn small mistakes into big risks. Gloves get reused between trash handling and food prep. One morning shift employee told a forum, "We use the same gloves for garbage and eggs." That's a health code nightmare. A local news station reported a Dairy Queen kitchen infested with mice. Employees were seen swatting rodents from the waffle irons, then returning to work. Management blamed open doors, but customers didn't buy it. You won't guess what's lurking inside. If you still think this is a harmless stop for breakfast, think again. Every bite is a gamble between rancid oil, unwanted additives, and questionable hygiene. You can't smell the expiration date, but your stomach will know. And if that wasn't bad enough, Popeyes is turning leftover chicken into breakfast.
Popeyes chicken is fucking awesome.
Pipes rattle upstairs. Grits bubble in a powdery sludge. And that chicken? It might have been fried yesterday. That biscuit you're eyeing? It's just a vehicle for recycled dinner. Breakfast or recycled dinner? Popeyes rigs its kitchen for speed, not breakfast care. One ex-manager admitted, "We'd pull leftover chicken from the night shift, toss it in gravy, and call it a morning special. That chewy bite? That's last night's leg, reheated and buried in gravy." Grits arrive as dehydrated powder. Staff pour water, stir, and dump it into bowls alongside biscuits fresh from a thawed box. Sometimes we forgot to warm them fully, a cook spilled. Guests found lumps that felt like paste. You won't believe what's lurking inside. The real horror hides in cross-contamination. Raw chicken breasts share prep tables with breakfast sides. Utensils get reused. Gloves go unwiped. A whistleblower said, "I watched staff slice raw tenders, then flip biscuits with the same knife." Health inspectors have cited multiple Popeyes for unsanitary food zones and inked notes about chicken juice pooling near waffle irons. Then there's the gravy. It's not simmered from scratch. It's a pouch mix you just add hot water to. One former worker revealed they sometimes stretch the mix by adding extra water, so thin it tasted like soup. A viral TikTok showed a customer finding bone fragments in a breakfast sandwich. The user claimed, "I bit down on what felt like metal." That clip got 5 million views and prompted an FDA query into Popeyes prep standards. But here's the real shocker. Even the warming lamps are deceptive. They sit atop stacks of pre-fried chicken, biscuits, and waffles. Under those heat lamps, grease drips onto biscuit trays. One cook said, "The rack beneath the lamp was slick with oil and crumbs. We never cleaned it." Nutritional facts: a chicken biscuit breakfast rounds up to 800 calories, mostly from grease and carbs, plus over 1,500 milliliters of sodium in a single meal. That's almost your full day's salt in one bite. Staff shortages make things worse during an early rush. They skip checks on temperature and storage. One store's health report noted, refrigerator door left ajar overnight, spoiling eggs and sides. Yet, kitchen pressure forced staff to serve it anyway. Your morning biscuit could be a bacterial playground. By the time you bite into that spicy chicken sandwich, you're chewing yesterday's dinner with today's risks. One heat lamp can't fix bad habits. If recycled chicken and instant grits made you cringe, wait until you see what Cracker Barrel pulls from its freezer.
50 years, Cracker Barrel has been serving up a slice of rustic country to suburbia.
You step inside and smell home cooking. But behind the gift shop, it's all frozen plates under dim lights. You're not eating scratch cooking. You're unboxing nostalgia. Cracker Barrel leans on pre-made ingredients. Their famous hash brown casserole arrives in freezer bags the size of trash bins. One ex-cook said, "We dumped thawed casserole into pans, added a dash of cheese, and called it homemade. That salty, gooey dish? It was never near a farmhouse. Eggs come as a liquid mix from jugs. Staff pour them onto industrial griddles that often wear grease like a dirty coat. Floors were slick with oil every morning, a former dishwasher recalled. You'd slip if you didn't watch out. That golden casserole, it came from a freezer bag the size of a trash bin. The bacon and sausage, pre-cooked in bulk and held under heat lamps, sometimes for hours. One cook admitted, "We stretched leftover sausage patties by slicing them thin. No one noticed until someone found a black edge." Then there's the meatloaf and steak. Both arrive flash frozen and vacuum sealed. The label boasts handcrafted, but the reality is assembly line frozen dinners. Health reports back this up. An inspection found moldy equipment, rust, and green slime coating the mixer used for pancake batter. Staff were told to wipe it off with a damp cloth. Calories and sodium skyrocket fast. A country boy breakfast clocks in at over 2,500 milliamoules of sodium, more than the daily limit for an adult. Add biscuits and gravy, another 800 milliliters, and you're at heart attack levels before noon. A class action lawsuit filed accused Cracker Barrel of misleading fresh labels. Plaintiffs claimed stale gravy was sold as homemade, causing upset stomachs. Waffle irons heat biscuits that started life as frozen dough logs. One whistleblower described finding a rat nest behind the warming cabinet, only for management to spray it with air freshener and keep serving. Even the coffee can't save you. Beans are ground hours before opening, then left to stale in open bins. The aroma section by the door uses artificial scent machines to mask the sour brew. Staff turnover is high. New hires learn on the fly with little training. One server said, "If someone hired last Tuesday is cooking your eggs, good luck." Between frozen casseroles, recycled sausage, and moldy gear, the romance of rocking chairs ends at the table. If your eggs were cooked by someone hired last Tuesday, good luck. Next up, a 24/7 chaos machine where cleaning's optional and bleach-flavored waffles are a thing.
Well, if you plan to order the T-bone and eggs breakfast at Waffle House.
When the sun sets, Waffle House never closes, and neither does the grime. Servers slide syrup bottles across counters that haven't been wiped in hours. The grill hasn't cooled since last Christmas. Hash browns are pulled from frozen bags and dumped into oil that's been heating nonstop. Fryer oil often goes days without a change. One ex-cook admitted, "We were told to stretch the oil through holiday weekends. The grease tasted like old cigarettes. That burnt residue, it sticks to every bite." Then there's the eggs. They come from liquid cartons, poured onto a griddle with old grease streaks. "I flipped raw patties and eggs with the same spatula," a former line cook confessed. "One night I saw someone use it on chicken, then on eggs. No one blinked." Ever seen someone flip bacon with a beef spatula? Waffles are a horror show. The batter sits out in open buckets, sometimes for hours, drying out and attracting pests. One customer posted a photo of a waffle covered in sticky black specks. Health inspectors found bleach residue on the waffle irons during one visit. A diner who tasted the bleach-like flavor said, "It burned my tongue." Breakfast meats are no kinder. Sausage patties arrive pre-cooked and frozen. They defrost under heat lamps, losing any crispness. One whistleblower claimed, "I found a strip of gristle in my sausage. When I complained, they just said, 'That's protein.'" Cross-contamination is part of the chaos. The prep area is barely wide enough for one person. Raw eggs, bacon, and waffle batter share the same counter. One former manager said, "We had to use the same gloves for trash and food prep. It was survival." A viral video showed a rat crawling across a prep station, right before a cook scooped eggs onto the grill. The clip exploded online, and locals reported sudden stomach cramps afterward. What breakfast horror have you survived at Waffle House? Nutrition facts don't help. A bacon, egg, and cheese waffle sandwich can hit 1 to 200 calories and over 2,000 milliliters of sodium. That's your full daily salt limit, wrapped in grease. Staff turnover is sky high. Training is rushed. One new hire told a forum, "I learned piping hot orders by watching someone else doing it. No one checked my work until after rush." Between reused oil, bleach-flavored waffles, and rat cameos, Waffle House lives up to its cult status, for all the wrong reasons. At Waffle House, the real side dish is chaos. And now, McDonald's, The golden arches that built breakfast on frozen shortcuts and sugar bombs.
McDonald's is shaking things up to win back customers.
You walk in expecting an Egg McMuffin made fresh. Instead, you get folded eggs from plastic bags. Your McMuffin? Cooked 2 states away. Many McDonald's locations use liquid egg mix for folded eggs. It arrives in giant plastic pouches, then gets steamed into shape. One ex-crew member said, "We'd squeeze egg mix straight from the bag onto the grill. No shell, no crack, just plastic and steam." Hash browns? They're frozen discs held under heat lamps for hours. An ex-employee confessed, "During slow shifts, we left hash browns in the lamp 1 hour too long. They tasted like rubber." Do you think it's fast? No, it's just pre-assembled. Burritos are even more industrial. They're rolled and frozen at a factory, then shipped nationwide. When you order, the staff tosses them in a microwave. It's not cooking, a former manager admitted. It's reheating a cylinder of goo. Coffee isn't safe either. Some stores brew gallons at dawn, then let them sit in open pots. A whistleblower reported seeing green slime in the coffee brewer's drip tray. When he pointed it out, his manager said, "Just rinse it with water and keep pouring." Let's talk oatmeal. It sounds healthy, but a medium bowl with cream and sugar can pack more sugar than a candy bar, up to 29 grams. You think you're making a smart choice. Your pancreas thinks otherwise. A class action lawsuit accused McDonald's of misleading customers by claiming fresh ingredients. Plaintiffs claim their Egg McMuffins caused stomach issues because of bacteria in reused grill pans. The suit settled for millions, but the damage to trust remains. Staff training is rushed. One night shift worker posted online, "We had 1 hour to learn breakfast assembly before orders poured in. No practice, just timers and cameras. Mistakes slip through the cracks. Cross-contamination happens fast. The same grill flips burgers at lunch and eggs at breakfast. Raw beef and egg mix share spatulas when time runs out. I saw blood and egg gunk swirl together," one cook recalled. "It was a health code nightmare." Nutrition and safety take a back seat to speed. A sausage burrito has nearly 700 calories and over 1,500 milligrams of sodium. That's your full daily salt limit in one handheld. Between plastic eggs, rubbery hash browns, and sugar-laden oatmeal, McDonald's breakfast feels less like food and more like a test of your immune system. You're not eating breakfast. You're unwrapping assembly line leftovers. If McDonald's assembly line leftovers left you queasy, wait till you bite into tots soaked in days-old oil at Sonic Drive-In.
If you needed some more motivation to get out of bed, maybe looking at a giant mountain, that's not going to get you out. But your Smart Shopper team, they've got a tasty deal.
You pull up craving tots and a smiley-faced breakfast. Instead, you get grease that's older than your last oil change. That grease? It's on its 3rd shift. Sonic's egg patties look fluffy, but they bounce like rubber balls. One ex-employee confessed, "Eggs dry into plastic. You bite, and it snaps back. Biscuits fare no better." "They taste like cardboard dipped in salt," another worker said. The fryer is the real crime scene. It handles chicken strips, corn dogs, and breakfast tots, often without an oil change for days. Health inspectors flagged one location for black flecks and a rancid smell. "It was like licking the bottom of a dumpster," a whistleblower posted online. Are you getting breakfast? A big no, but a salt bomb with a splash of grease. Breakfast burritos promise hearty comfort. But each one is a mix of soggy egg pucks, greasy sausage bits, and cheese that clumps into plastic-like blobs. One customer shared a video of a burrito leaking oil through its wrapper, like watching a science experiment spill out of its beaker. Then there's the drive-in chaos. Roll-up windows get sticky with syrup, trash bins overflow under the grill, and flies swarm the prep area. One former cook said, "I scooped tots next to a bag of rotten leftovers. No one stopped me." A viral TikTok showed a customer biting into a tot filled with dark sludge, labeled by Sonic as crispy. The post racked up millions of views and prompted a local health probe. Nutrition isn't much better. A large order of tots packs over 1,700 milligrams of sodium, nearly a full day's limit. You think you're getting fast fuel. You're getting a salt bomb. An ex-employee quoted, "We'd stretch meat to avoid waste," one line cook admitted. Sometimes I saw chicken strips from yesterday's dinner get dunked back in oil for breakfast. Ever chewed a breakfast tot so greasy it stained your fingers? Share your Sonic drive-in breakfast horror in comments now. Staffing shortages fuel shortcuts. Gloves go from trash cans to food trays. One whistleblower told a forum, I used the same spatula for bacon, tots, and a stray soda cup. It was all too busy to care. Ever seen grease drip from the ceiling? In some locations, ceiling vents leak oily drips onto grills below. One guest posted a photo of oil spots on their hash browns, like a Jackson Pollock painting of decay. You might leave full, but it's full of regret. And if you thought that was grim, get ready for Carl's Jr.'s soggy, grease-soaked steak surprise that drips with regret.
Carl's Jr. is here. We've got Jake, and you've got something new.
Yes, we have our new fresh baked buns that are baked fresh in every single one of our restaurants every single day.
You want a hearty breakfast burrito. Instead, you're biting into a freezer-to-fryer nightmare. Wet jerky pretending to be steak? Carl's Jr. ads promise giant steak and egg combos, but that steak is more filler than beef. It arrives frozen, chopped, formed, then flash-fried. One ex-cook said, the steak patty was so thin and rubbery, it felt like chewing wet jerky. Sauces are another trap. Those creamy spreads with a kick, they sit in unwashed squeeze bottles for weeks. We reused the same bottle until it grew mold, a whistleblower admitted. Then we just topped it off with fresh sauce. That sauce with the zing might just be bacteria. Hash browns and tots meet the same fate. They're frozen discs fried in oil, also used for burgers and chicken strips. Staff stretch the oil, sometimes for days, until it's dark, foamy, and rancid. Health inspectors in 3 states flagged Carl's Jr. for rodent droppings near fryers and sticky grime on equipment. One report noted cockroach shells in the oil filter. Eggs come as a liquid mix in pouches. Workers pour it onto the griddle, then flip it with a burger spatula. I saw bits of plastic from the pouch mixed in with the egg, a former manager recalled. No one bothered to clean the grill between shifts. You're not eating breakfast, you're keeping the roaches company. Nutrition panels lie. A loaded breakfast burrito can top 1,000 calories and pack over 2,000 milliounces of sodium, your full day's limit. That's before you add a side of chicken fried steak, which arrives pre-breaded and frozen, then dunked in grease until it's barely warm. A Carl's Jr. franchise was fined $150,000 after a health inspector found rat infestations and expired meat labeled for service. One customer sued after finding rodent droppings mixed into their fries. The prep area is cramped. Raw meats, eggs, and sauces share the same counters. Gloves go from handling trash bins straight to breakfast wraps. A former worker said, "We knew we were risking cross-contamination, but speed came first." The dining room smells of grease and cleaning chemicals, not home cooking. Mops are used sparingly. Floors stay sticky. Equipment gets wiped, not scrubbed. When you take that last bite, you're not finishing breakfast. You're sampling an assembly line of shortcuts, salt, and safety scares. You're not eating breakfast. You're keeping the roaches company. Up next, Wendy's, the new kid with the bold ads, and the soggy croissants.
It looks like a typical drive-thru.
You can start placing your order when ready.
Can I get a number 8, please?
But the voice taking orders at this Wendy's,
what dipping sauce?
is actually powered by artificial intelligence.
Turkey, Subway's new and improved sandwich.
Subway offered its customers across the country 1 million of those for free to.
Ads shout fresh, but your breakfast whisper is processed. Croissants arrive frozen, then thawed in a microwave before hitting the oven. One ex-employee confessed, "We'd pop croissants in the oven straight from the box, no proofing or checks. Sometimes they stayed soggy and doughy inside." Croissants soft on the outside, soggy in the middle. Eggs come as pre-scrambled patties, not cracked fresh. Staff steam them from plastic cartons. "It was less like eggs, more like mousse," a former cook said. "You'd bite and it would ooze." Then there's the cheese sauce. It isn't real cheese. It's a pasteurized processed cheese product with stabilizers and color agents. One whistleblower revealed, "The sauce container was never cleaned. We just topped it up until the lid gunked shut." That bright yellow goop? It's food artistry and chemical soup. Your eggs? Less egg, more mousse. Potatoes aren't hash browns. They're seasoned wedges fried in oil, also used for burgers and chili. A manager once admitted on record, "We let the oil run past its change date to avoid downtime." Health inspectors cited Wendy's for old fryer oil and rancid odor. Staff training barely covers breakfast. "We used last night's staff to open the store," an ex-employee posted online. Zero breakfast training. "We learned from scratch on day one." Mistakes follow. Burgers land on egg trays. Cold meat hits the skillet meant for patties. A viral customer review caught a kitchen worker dropping a raw chicken strip onto a prep table, then sliding breakfast wraps on the same surface moments later. The clip led to an official health department warning. Even the coffee disappoints. Beans are ground once in the morning, then sit in open bins, losing aroma. One barista told a forum, "We added flavor packets to cover the stale taste." Your fresh coffee might be decaf sludge masked by vanilla syrup. You won't believe what's lurking inside. Nutrition? A Baconator breakfast sandwich clocks in at over 800 calories and nearly 1,700 milligrams of sodium. That's more than 3/4 of your daily limit and enough salt to dehydrate a cactus. And the healthy options? The fruit and yogurt parfait hides sugar in the yogurt, up to 18 grams in 1 cup, almost as much as a candy bar. Between soggy croissants, chemical cheese, and undertrained staff, Wendy's breakfast feels like a slick marketing stunt. It's not breakfast, it's branding with a side of heartburn. And finally, the healthy option hides a chemical omelet. Welcome to Subway. You walk in hoping for a fresh start. Instead, you get a lab coat breakfast. That flatbread? Flattened hope? Subway's slogan is, "Eat fresh." Yet their egg patties are only about 50% egg, the rest a mix of gums and stabilizers. A CBC investigation tested samples and found more additives than real eggs. One ex-employee spilled the beans. Veggies sat out all morning. Eggs came in giant yellow slabs and we just warmed them up. No one checked how long those eggs sat in the steam cabinets. Your fresh egg started life as a chemical mixture. Flatbread wraps promise artisan flair, but they arrive frozen, flash-thawed in store, then toasted to mask dryness. They tasted like wet cardboard, a whistleblower posted. We'd soak them in oil just to hide the crackly crust. Sandwich meats follow the same script. Turkey, ham, and bacon come pre-sliced, vacuum-packed, and cold-stored. Staff stack them by weight, no shredding, no fresh slicing. One manager admitted, "We used deli trays as long as possible. If the meat looked fine, we served it." A local health report found bins of meat stored at unsafe temperatures overnight. Then there's the sauce. Those squeeze bottles of mayo and vinaigrette, they're rarely cleaned. A former cook said, "We'd top off the bottles until the labels peeled. No one washed them for weeks." Bacteria thrived in that unwashed reservoir. A class action lawsuit targeted Subway for mislabeling its ingredients. Plaintiffs claimed the egg product contained only 50% real egg, with the rest unpronounceable fillers. Subway settled quietly, but the trust was cracked. To top it off, Subway's prep counters sometimes host more than veggies. One Reddit user posted a photo of a rat scurrying across the cold table, then staff brushed it off and wrapped another sandwich. Nutrition? A foot-long egg and cheese flatbread packs roughly 530 calories, over 200 milligrams of sodium, and 22 grams of fat. That's enough salt and grease to ruin your morning. Have you ever ordered a Subway egg sandwich only to get a lab pile? Drop your Subway breakfast disaster below now. Between frosty slabs of egg, dry flatbread, and recycled condiments, Subway's breakfast feels less like a fresh option and more like a chemistry demo. You paid for a healthy start, you got a chemistry set. You ordered a sandwich, you've got a lab experiment. And that's 10 breakfast bombs, served daily across America. Breakfast should give you energy, not serve up factory filler and health hazards. We've exposed 10 chains where convenience wins over quality, and your stomach pays the price. If you've ever bitten into a soggy, sad sandwich or questioned what you're eating, drop your worst breakfast horror in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more behind-the-scenes truths. Skip the drive-thru. Save your gut.